7 steps to maximize your home appraisal value. Hello to everyone on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm Jonathan Otero. I'm the owner of J&J Management Group and We Buy Houses Seminole. And I wanted to shoot a quick video and talk about the appraisal, because the appraisal is the very last step of your home selling process. And it is the most critical step because it is the last hurdle to get to the closing table. And a lot of people don't realize that this is the most important step when you're selling a home. The appraisal oftentimes can kill a deal. And the reason why is because you overvalued your house, or you didn't take a look at the comps, and there's many other things that we're going to go over in this video today that are going to explain to you as the home seller, as the home owner of the property, what you can do to maximize the value of your property so you can make sure it gets appraised and you can make sure you move it to closing, and at closing you know what you get, that fat check, and you get that money. That's what it's all about. So let's talk about those 7 steps and let's go through them because they're important on some of the things that you can do yourself as the homeowner. I'm actually going through this right now myself. As you know, if you've been following me, we have a property that we're fixing up and flipping in Winter Springs right now. That property is almost wrapped up, and at the closing table, we just finished with the appraisal, and I got to thinking this might be a good video because other people don't know certain things that you can do to help maximize the value of your property. So let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. Number 1 is to keep the house clean and neat, clean and tidy. Oftentimes, my properties, I don't stage them. I just keep it nice and empty and vacant. And the reason I do that is, 1, because staging is pretty expensive and that could eat up some of your budget. But 2, when I do the appraisal, I want the appraiser to come in there and see everything nice and empty so they can see everything in the property. Now, oftentimes, if you're not a rehabber or a real estate investor and you're just selling your own home, you're living in the house, so you have all your stuff there. So the appraiser is not going to be going through your underwear drawer and things like that, but what they will be doing is they're going to be looking at the whole total room size in the house, and if there's clutter, if there's boxes in the way, it's going to make it that much tougher for the appraiser to do their job. And this whole list, these 7 steps that I'm going to talk to you about, is just about helping that appraiser do their job better so they can make sure that they maximize the value of your property and you get it closed and get it sold. So the first step is just keep it clean and neat. If you know the appraiser is going to be coming today or tomorrow, make sure you take some of those boxes out of the way. Make sure that you clean up your house and make it look nice and tidy so the appraiser can go through nice and easy and have a nice flow through your property without having any trouble. So that's the first thing, clean and neat. And I know that goes without saying, but believe it or not, there's often times when you walk into a house, it's not clean and neat, or there's just a lot of clutter all over the place. So try to eliminate all of that. So that's step 1, clean and neat. Step number 2 is keep and maintain an itemized list of all the upgrades that you've done to the house. So step number 2 is going to be about upgrades, and this is very important, especially if you are a rehabber or a flipper. But even if you're not and you're just owning your own home and you're trying to sell it now, it's important to keep a list of all the upgrades you have done to the house. So in my example, with that flip that we're doing in Winter Springs, we did some work to the electrical, we did some work to the HVAC. We've painted on the interior and exterior of the property. We did a lot of landscaping. We rescreened the pool. We did a lot of work to that property, and so you want to make a list of all those upgrades that you've done that help maximize the value of that property. If you've done new flooring, if you redid the kitchen, if you did something, if you made an addition to your property, whatever that is that you've done to your house, make sure to make a note of that and be ready to have that list handy so you can give it to the appraiser while you're closing. I'm going to talk a little bit about that later on, but that's very, very important to keep an itemized list of all the upgrades that you've done to the property so it can show that you've put value into that property as well. And make sure you give that list to the appraiser. And again, we're going to talk about that in a second. Step number 3 is comps. Do your homework on the comps. Oftentimes, the appraiser doesn't know the area like you do. You've been living there for a bunch of years, or you've been flipping and you did your homework and you know what the comps look like and what your competition is in the neighborhood and what's going on there. So you have to know your comps. And I have a video that talks about determining property value if you don't know how to check comps. Yeah, I'm going to put it right here. You can click on the top there and it'll take you to that video. And then once you're done with that, you can come back to this one. But in that video, we talk about how to determine your property value and how to pull comps and check comps. And we talk about looking at the same beds and baths and similar square footage within 5 or 10% up or down, within a 1 mile radius of your subject property, of your house. sales within the last 6 months. Those are some of the criteria that an appraiser uses when comping your property. So when you're looking at the comps as well, you want to make sure that you pull them and help the appraiser see what you see when it comes to those comps and why your house is valued at whatever you're selling it for. So that's critical. So again, we're going through this list now. You should be creating a folder of the upgrades and the comps so you can share that with the appraiser when they come to the house. Step number 4 is I'm going to label that as big ticket items. Okay, and what do I mean by big ticket items? So let's just say, for example, as a rehabber myself and as a fix and flip investor, oftentimes when the appraiser comes in, everything is already fixed up and ready to go for them. And in my list of upgrades, I'm going to show them everything I did. But if you're living in the house and you're trying to sell it now, always look at the big ticket items. And there's 4 big ticket items. There's 4, when they do an inspection, what they call a 4-point inspection. And that's electrical, that's roof, that's plumbing, and that's the AC, HVAC. So you want to make sure that all those things are taken care of. If you have a big structural issue, try to take care of that before the appraisal and before the inspection, definitely, because that's gonna hurt you during the appraisal. If you have something visual, let's say you have a broken window, there's a crack in the glass, you're gonna want to get that fixed before the appraisal's done. Let's say you have electrical issues. Maybe you have an electrical panel that's out of date that needs to be upgraded, like a Federal Pacific electrical panel that's not up to code. That's not going to work. So you want to make sure you upgrade that before the appraisal comes in. Those are big ticket items: the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC, and those things like that, structural issues that are noticeable. The appraiser is going to take points off and lower the value of the property if these big ticket items are not taken care of when the day that person comes to your property. Step number 5 is you want to brag about your community. And what do I mean by that? So the appraiser, again, doesn't know the area as much as you do. If there's a new school that was just built right around the corner, you want to tell them that, brag about that. If there's a new retailer that just built they built a new Walmart down the street, all that stuff adds value to the community. If there's a landmark or something that the house is close to, you want to brag about those items to the appraiser and show them, what are some of the best things about your property. Step number 6 is make the appraiser feel at home. Make the appraiser comfortable. Appraiser feel at home. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by make the appraiser feel at home? The temperature, something as simple as the temperature. If it's a hot day here in Florida, make sure that you get there 30 minutes early before the appraiser gets there and lower the temperature on the property. Or if you're living there, same thing. You're already there, so you can make sure. If you're a person that likes it hot, and you keep it to 80 degrees in the state of Florida, and you walk in and that appraiser is going to be sweating bullets, just for the time there, they only need about 20-30 minutes the most. Make sure you make them feel comfortable and lower the temperature down on the property just for those 30 minutes so that appraiser could be, nice and they can flow through your property nice and easily, and they don't just want to get out of there because they're starting to sweat like crazy. Conversely, if it's cold and you live in a cold climate, raise the heat up and make sure that the temperature in the house is a comfortable temperature. Make that appraiser feel at home. Make that appraiser want to be there working on your property and not thinking about the next 5 that he has to go to in the day, and he just wants to get out of here because it's too hot or too cold. So make that appraiser feel at home. Make that appraiser feel comfortable. Step number 7 is keep the questions to a minimum or keep them to the end. I prefer you leave your questions to the very, very end. Let the appraiser do their job and respect them. They're there to do a job. They're there to appraise your home. Don't follow them all around the property. Most times they're going to start with the exterior and they're going to do their measurements on the exterior of the house. Stay inside. Let them be. If you need to make sure that the fences are open so they can walk around the perimeter of the property, do that. But stay inside for the most part. Then they're going to come inside and start working on the interior of your property. What I like to do is I like to settle myself. I make my little mini office in the kitchen of the property that I'm in. And I make sure I stand in the way that they're going to have to pass me. So they're going to go, for example, the kitchen's usually in the middle of the house. They're going to go left or right to check all the rooms and check all the dining room and all the different things that you have in the house. And I plant myself right there in the kitchen because they're going to have to check the kitchen. And so I just keep my mouth shut, let them walk around, let them do their things, and keep the questions to the very end. And while they're doing their appraisal, once they're done, if they have any questions, you ask them, do you have any questions for me? Do you have any questions about some of the upgrades we did? And that's how you can then transition to handing them a folder. I usually like to keep a folder of all the upgrades that I do and all the comps and everything that I told you on this video. I keep a list of that and I hand it to the appraiser and I say, look, this is totally up to you. I was able to do some, homework and take a look at some comps, and I wanted to show you even some of the offers that we had on this property if you're in a multiple offer situation. And I wanted to give you a list of all the upgrades that we did, just so you can understand some of the stuff we did to the property. This is totally up to you if you want to use it or not, but here's a folder, and if you have any questions, please let me know. And at that point, and that's at the very end when they're almost done, and at that point, then you guys can have a conversation and he can ask you, well, tell me what you did about the electrical. And then you can show them, or tell me what you did with the HVAC, or tell me what happened with the roof. Whatever it is that you guys did, then you can brag about some of the upgrades that you've made to the house. If you did the flooring, this flooring, and you start telling them this is engineered hardwood, whatever it is about the flooring that gets you excited, make sure you let the appraiser know that, but keep the questions and keep the dialogue at the end. This is not coffee talk. You don't want to be following the appraiser around. Let them do their job, but make sure you're there somewhere where they're going to have to pass by you, and then that way you can have that interaction at the very end while they're already done doing their job. But that is critical and key. It's okay. Some appraisers are not going to like the fact that you're providing them with some information, because just like anyone else, there's good appraisers and bad appraisers. But most of the time, and in my experience, most of the appraisers that I deal with, they're more than appreciative that you're giving them any, information, and any information helps. So it's just the way that you deliver that information to them. You don't want to be too aggressive and try to say, hey, I'm helping you do your job. This is what it is. You want to be soft. It's almost like you're talking to a friend and say, hey, this is all up to you if you want to use this information or not. But I wanted to give this to you in the event that you wanted to use it. I have some comps here for you that I've pulled to show you some of the stuff we looked at. I have an itemized list of the work that we did from my contractor, or if you just kept a list randomly for yourself, and some of the offers that we had and things like that. So you can take a look at that. If you have any questions, let me know. And at that point, you guys have your dialogue. So hopefully that helped. These are the 7 steps. This is what I do during my appraisal. Again, this is critical to do these things because the appraisal is going to make or break your deal. If that financial institution feels like they don't want to lend on that property because it's overpriced based on the agreement that you and the buyer have made, they are not going to appraise that house. They are not going to release the funds, and you're going to have to either find another buyer or you're going to have to come down in price. And oftentimes, if you've already gone down the road, you're already 30, maybe 45 days in with this buyer, and you're waiting to secure that loan, you don't want to have to start all over again and put your house back on the market and do showings all over again. You just want to make sure you get to closing, and that could be very annoying. So the appraisal is the last step. It's the critical step that's going to help you get to that closing table so you can get that check and you can make money. And then you know what you can do with that money? You can go put that into another property, flip that next one, and keep on rinse and repeat. So hopefully this video helped you guys out. The 7 steps to maximize your home appraisal value. So hopefully this video helped out. The 7 steps to maximize your home appraisal value. And I hope that you guys are doing fix and flips out there. Right now is the time, especially in this market where I live, and I'm sure it's in other markets as well. It can't just be in Florida, but in this market, the market is hot right now. This is the perfect time to get into real estate investing, and this is the perfect time to be flipping houses. So if you guys have a house, if you're watching this and you want to sell your house, if you've seen some of my videos, you like what I do, and you want to give me a call because you want me to buy it, I would love to take a look at it and see if we could do a deal. You can give me a call. My number's right now on the bottom of the screen, and my website's on the bottom of the screen. The number's 407-796-8557. Our website is WeBuyHousesSeminole.org. It's right there on the bottom of the screen. Give us a call, and I hope this video helped you out. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Jonathan Otero 14. It's right now on the bottom of the screen as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Good luck with your appraisals and good luck with selling your house. See you on the next one.